1, 2, 3, read for me. Story time has just begun. 1, 2, 3, read for me. Reading books is fun. Hi kids, today we're reading Mog the Forgetful Cat. It's a book by Judith Kerr. There's Mog the cat. Once there was a cat called Mog. She lived with a family called Thomas. Mog was very nice, but not very clever. She didn't understand a lot of things. A lot of other things she forgot. She was a very forgetful cat. This is the Thomas family. There's Debbie, the little girl, Mr. Thomas, the dad, Mrs. Thomas, the mum, the little boy, Nicky, and of course, Mog. Sometimes she ate her supper, then she forgot that she had eaten it. Sometimes she thought of something in the middle of washing her leg, then she forgot to wash the rest of it. Look at Mog with her leg sticking up. She's forgotten what she was doing. Once she forgot that cats can't fly. She just jumped out of the tree. But most of all, she forgot her cat flap. It's her little door that she can get through. The cat flap led from the kitchen into the garden. Mog could go out and in again. It was her own little door. She was very happy about her little door. The garden always made Mog very excited. She smelled all the smells. She chased the birds. She climbed the trees. She ran round and round with a big fluffed-up tail. And then she forgot the cat flap. She forgot that she had a cat flap. She wanted to go back into the house, but she couldn't remember how. There's Debbie and Nicky playing in the garden with a ball. And there's Mog, enjoying herself, but she's forgotten her cat flap. In the end, she sat outside the kitchen window and meowed until someone let her in. There's Mog, wanting to come in the house. Afterwards, you could always tell where she had sat. Look, she sits on the flowers and squashes them. This made Mr. Thomas very sad. He said, "Bother that cat." But Debbie said, "She's nice." Once Mog had a very bad day. Even the start of the day was bad. Mog was still asleep, and then Nicky picked her up. He hugged her and said, "Nice kitty." But Mog said nothing. She was not happy. Then it was breakfast time. Mog forgot that cats have milk for breakfast. She forgot that cats only have eggs as a treat. Look, she jumped up here and she's eating Nicky's egg. She ate an egg for her breakfast, and Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." Debbie said, "Nicky doesn't like eggs anyway." Mog looked through her cat flap. It was raining in the garden. Mog thought, perhaps the sun is shining in the street. When the milkman came, she ran out. The milkman shut the door. The sun was not shining in the street after all. It was raining. A big dog came down the street. Mog ran. The dog ran too. Mog ran right around the house, and the dog ran after her. She climbed over the fence. She ran through the garden, and she jumped up outside the kitchen window. Look at her there in the window box, and there's the dog wanting to catch her. She meowed a big meow, very sudden and very loud. Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." Debbie said it wasn't her fault, because look what happened. Mrs. Thomas got a fright and dropped the peas all over the floor. Mog was very sleepy. She found a nice, warm, soft place and went to sleep. Goodness, she's on this chair, but something else is on the chair. She had a lovely dream. Mog dreamed that she had wings. She could fly everywhere. She could fly faster than the birds, even quite big birds. And suddenly she woke up. There's Mog, with her wings flying with the birds. Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother that cat." Debbie said, "I think you look nicer without a hat," because Mog had been sitting on Mrs. Thomas's hat and squashed it. Debbie gave Mog her supper, and Mog ate it all up. Then Debbie and Nicky went to bed. Mog had a rest too, but Mr. Thomas wanted to see the fight. Mr. Thomas said, "Bother that cat," as Mog thought she'd have a rest on the TV, and her tail is covering the show. Mog thought, "Nobody likes me." Then she thought, "Debbie likes me." Debbie's door was open. Debbie's bed was warm, and Debbie's hair was soft, like kitten fur. Mog forgot that Debbie was not a kitten. Look at Mog on Debbie, licking her hair. Debbie had a dream. It was a bad dream. It was a dream about a tiger. The tiger wanted to eat Debbie. It was licking her hair. Debbie shouted. Mog jumped. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas said, "Bother, bother, bother that cat." Debbie said nothing. She was still crying because of the bad dream. Debbie's upset and Mog's running away. Mog ran out of the room and right through the house and out of her cat flap. She was very sad. The garden was dark. The house was dark too. Mog sat in the dark and thought dark thoughts. She thought, "Nobody likes me. They've all gone to bed. There's no one to let me in, and they haven't even given me my supper." Poor Mog. She forgot that she's already had her supper. Then she noticed something. The house was not quite dark. There was a little light moving about. She looked through the window and saw a man in the kitchen. Mog thought, "Perhaps that man will let me in. Perhaps he will give me my supper." She meowed her biggest meow, very sudden and very, very loud. Meow! The man was surprised. He dropped his bag. It made a big noise, and everyone in the house woke up. Mr. Thomas ran down to the kitchen and shouted, "A burglar!" The burglar said, "Bother that cat." Mrs. Thomas telephoned the police. Debbie let Mog in, and Nicky hugged her. Look at Mog, giving the burglar a fright, so he dropped everything. A policeman came, and they told him what had happened. The policeman looked at Mog. He said, "What a remarkable cat. I've seen watchdogs, but never a watch cat. She will get a medal." Debbie said, "I think she'd rather have an egg." Mog had a medal, to Mog for bravery. She also had an egg every day for breakfast. Mr. and Mrs. Thomas told all their friends about her. They said, "Mog is really remarkable." And they never, or almost never, said, "Bother that cat." What a great book! Reading is fun with Mog the Forgetful Cat.